Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan. On today's episode, we are going to continue our NBA season preview, and we're going to hit on the Houston Rockets. If you want to know our thoughts on their offseason, you can go check out our clip on that. We did the entire division, so you'll have to look out for their division, but we talk about the offseason. We're going to focus on the season to come. Clint's doing that with me, so let's get into it. Clint, last year, they finished 52 and 30. They were second in the West, but they did lose in the first round to the Warriors. They re-signed Smith and Adams and Van Vliet. Unfortunately, Van Vliet did get injured. They added Capella, Durant, Finney-Smith, and they lost Dylan Brooks in a trade and Jalen Green in the trade, and Cam Whitmore, who I kind of like, in a trade as well. So, Clint, what is your biggest strength for the Houston Rockets going into this season?
Nice. This is a huge team.
Huge.
And I think, being able to roll out any combination of those guys, Thompson, Durant, Jabari Smith, Şengün, Adams, Jordan Finney-Smith, Tari Eason, Clint Capella, all of those guys. It's just having incredible length. And different forms of versatility. You could play Durant anywhere from the 2 to technically the 5 if you had to. He's probably not going to do that. But in a lot of those guys, you can up and down a position. So that size, and outside of Durant, these guys are young. They got that youth, athleticism. So I think that size defensively is incredibly difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and that's why, just to add on to it, that's why I put defense, is because of their size. It's not just they have size, they are a vaunted defense. They are all over the place on defense. You do not want to play this team. I mean, I love, whether it's Thompson on the perimeter, Eason coming off the bench. They add Finney-Smith. He's a good defender. Jabari Smith is a really good defender. So just overall, their defense is going to be like, this is a team when you see on the schedule, you're like, I don't want to play this team if you're an offensive player. So, yeah, their defense is definitely a strength going into this season. What is their big weakness? What is your most concerned with going into this season for the Rockets?
At this point, it's got to be point guard.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet, we saw it last year. Good player, limited by size, and he's getting up there. But with him out, Reed Sheppard's got to show something. I know he's a really good shooter in college, but even at points last year, they didn't play him.
Yep.
And there's times where maybe they could have used hey, this guy can at least shoot. Can we get him out there? And they didn't. And, you have Aaron Holiday, which is, he's a fine third guard, but if he's got to play backup, and because of the guard issue, if you play a man at the 1, obviously you're going to cause this cascading changes when you do that. But it's got to be point guard. What is Reed Sheppard? He's going right to the deep end.
Yeah, just even that's what I put down. I put their guards, just mainly point guard. Once they lost Fred VanVleet, puts Reed Sheppard in a tough spot. You want to make sure that you can trust your point guard to facilitate the offense and get it going to where it needs to be. And there's a lot of questions with their point guard in doing that. Yeah. Biggest question you have for the Houston Rockets going into this season?
Can they improve? They brought in Durant to kind of fix that end of the game, end of the shot clock, getting bogged down. Is that going to get better? I think we were on the right track when you had Fred VanVleet, but now that you don't, obviously Durant can get a shot off better than Fred VanVleet. But if Reed Sheppard is out and you play a men at the 1, a men can't be the guy throwing it to Durant because they'll just leave him, right? Just go stand next to Durant and be like, cool, you can't shoot yet, so unless you got a shot. So did they fix that end of the game offense? Do they have enough between Şengün, Durant, Amen Thompson, Finney Smith, like can they get that right balance where it's not like, yeah, we have Kevin Durant, but he's got three guys on him because we have two guys out there that can't shoot.
Yeah, that's a good one, which leads me to my question, which is how much of a leap is Amen Thompson going to take? Because I really think a large of because he when he came out, he was an elite guy, right? Like he went to the elite. He was the point guard on that team. He was the playmaker on that team, and he has it in him. And I love him. I love him and his brother, right? The question is, can he take a leap as a playmaker? And more importantly, can he take a leap as a shooter? Because that's what if he can do that, I think our guard question goes out the window. Like our worries about the guard, because he can do that, plus add in his perimeter defense, that would be just a big concern throughout the NBA. So I think there should be pressure on him to be the guy to take the leap forward. And like you said, if he's the one passing Durant, can he have a good enough 3-point shot where they can't get away with doing that? That's what you need from him. That's my biggest question. Is he going to take that leap that could be in there for him to take as a shooter and a playmaker?
Yeah, that's a good one because if he does, you're right. Then you can play Reed Shepard off as just spacing the floor. You can play Finney Smith and just stand him over there because you won't be able just leave him at the top and be like, have fun.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Success. What is success for you for the Houston Rockets this season?
So they're teetering on that, you know, championship. I don't think it's championship or bust. You're kind of there when you get Durant because you don't know how much time you have left with that. But I think success for the Rockets is second or third round, like getting past that first round. And if you do so, you're probably, which I don't know, you're probably leading them to seeing the young guys do something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you probably have a 2-3 year window with Durant at most, so it doesn't have to be this year where they get to the finals. So, although I think that can contribute to how you feel about their success, I'm not going to put that on them. I'm just going to say for right now, development, because I think what we maybe have lost sight of as NBA fans, maybe not, I don't know, but like they're still a pretty young team. Jabari Smith is 22, Amen Thompson is 22, Reed Shepard is younger than that, and so Easton is still pretty young. So like, can you get these guys who need to take a step forward to develop into something? If you can find one or two of those guys to do that, I think that's going to be a successful season. Because then next year is, I think, where they need to make their big playoff push into the finals. That's what when Fred VanVleet went down. That's kind of my perspective on them now. Let's get these guys developed for next year to make that big push.
Yeah, and that's kind of the unfortunate thing with the Fred VanVleet injury is like the Rockets are balancing that line between youth and going for it, and they kind of went for it a little. I mean, Jalen Green wasn't obviously a long term, but Cam Whitmore, you don't know what you had there, but you kind of gave up some of it to get Durant, and you're like, okay, this could put us in. We have a chance to win it this year, and you lose Fred VanVleet, and you can't move him, so it kind of puts a crimp in that. So maybe this year you do what you just said, and you're like, hey, let's focus on bringing some of these younger guys up to speed, and then going in the next year we could make a follow-up move to put us there.
Yeah, and then you also know who you want to go to like war with, and maybe you make another move to bring someone else in, to if you don't feel comfortable. Like let's say if Amen Thompson, just his jump shot is broken and he'll never find it, and you're like, he's not going to be an effective playmaker if he can't shoot, so we're okay moving on from him to get like a really good player to come in to go for it next year. You might be able to come to that conclusion, although I wouldn't do that. But I'm just saying you could come to that conclusion. Okay. Prediction?
This is a playoff team. I'm going to put them on the border of, because like you, similar, you don't want to have like, there's 6 contenders in the West.
Yeah.
I will put them as like the 3rd contender. I think they can get there. I would have easily had them as a contender before the injury, but I think they're flirting with that solid playoff team could contend.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have borderline now. I was with you on the Fred VanVleet. Once that happened, it was just like there's now this glaring hole that you just don't know if it's going to be filled. They could fill it through progression and trade, but we don't know. So that's where they should be, I think. Anything else on the Rockets?
They're a sneaky fun team to watch.
I know, aren't they?
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
It kind of brings you back to that like 90s, early 2000s as far as defensively, but this is like a perfect Durant team. So for the longevity, I mean, he's going to keep playing, but just to see how he fits with young guys and how he kind of defers and works in with, I think it'd be good for Thompson too, to play with someone like him, learn from him, maybe pick up some shooting tips, things like that.
Yeah, the Rockets have always been like my the Detroit Pistons. I considered like their sister team, like in the Western Conference, because we were always picking around the same area. So we got Cade, they drafted Green, they drafted Smith. I really wanted Smith, but then we got Ivy that year, and then we both got the Thompson brothers. So I always felt like we were like this, and then they took a huge leap when they got Udoka as their coach. And now the Pistons are there too. So I've always kind of had an interest in the Rockets because I like a lot of their players. But for the Rockets fan that said that Green was a better player than Cunningham, I think we can put that to bed. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and
even
on
I
a high
couldn't
note.
die. I couldn't even die on that hill, and I used to give you a hard time about Cade. So
That's right. A lot of people did. Good reason, but anyway, let's end it there. Let us know down in the comments down below your thoughts on the Houston Rockets season moving forward. Like and subscribe if you like what you hear. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.